Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy, my channel's Finding Value. I'm going to scroll through the comments section, hit up some of your guys' comments and questions that you guys leave, and I'm just going to give you my financial opinion. Doesn't mean I'm right, wrong, it's just my opinion. So here we go. It says there's a lot of talk about this 1 trillion platinum coin the Fed will be receiving from the Treasury. If there's a 1 trillion platinum coin, does that in turn mean that platinum's worth 1 trillion an ounce? And I don't know. I mean, I saw that as well. They were talking about that like a couple years ago, I think. But I don't know. It's funny that they chose platinum because platinum's like the top dog. It's super rare. I don't know what the value is in its entirety, like what the actual value to humankind is. Because right now we are pricing it less than platinum or palladium, less than palladium, and less than gold. And it's incredibly rare for platinum to be priced lower than those two metals. So I think there's a huge upside to it, but I don't know what the actual value to society is. Same with silver. These two metals are incredibly cheap, and they provide so much value to humans that I think we don't necessarily wrap our head around how much value they have or create for humans and products. But that's where I'll leave it at. I don't know what the pricing would be if they start printing out these $1 trillion platinum coins, but I don't have an answer for you. It says, Andy, when PMs take off precious metals, would you view that as a time to start selling energy? No. I'll sell energy when the housing starts go below 1.5 million. That's roughly the time frame. And then you want to look at your valuations of commodity to stock ratio and your gold to oil ratio. So when the conditions change and your ratios get expensive, that's the time, I think, to head for the exit. Then PMs will go another 3 years after that, roughly. It's around that 3-year time frame, 3.28, 3.5, 3, somewhere in that range. It says, man, I was the most bullish on silver, and I stuck to it. And that's what's pushing my portfolio down. What I'm worried about and don't see a move higher anytime soon is if the market has a big correction, then silver will tank again for the short to medium term. Long term, very bullish, but it sucks to see the rest of the commodities booming now while silver keeps tanking. Very frustrating. I think silver is very close to a move, and I am personally contemplating buying more precious metals stocks. When you feel like that, the way that you wrote that, and when I see other people writing it too in the comments section underneath a lot of my gold and silver videos, they say it's bad, it just keeps going down. There's a lot of pessimistic sentiment in this area, and I'm starting to get more bullish. I've been thinking, I have the solar money. I think I'm going to put it in precious metals. More particularly, I may put it in some of the silver companies to beef it up. Because when sentiment's that rough, and the charts don't look bad either, they look beaten down, but they look like they're trying to turn. And guys, even if I'm wrong, even if this were to continue lower, I'm going to cost average in and continue to buy it because I don't know how it can keep going down. I really don't. We would have to have a true deflation, and that comes from real estate tanking. We're going in the opposite direction for real estate. It's going higher. It's going way higher. At least at the moment, that's what it looks like. So hang in there. Your day in the sun will come. And I'm here with you. I've got a bunch of silver. I have silver stocks. I have physical silver. I have more physical silver than I have silver stocks. I'll tell you that. I have way more physical silver. So let's hold on. And yeah, it's holding my portfolio down as well. Some of the royalty companies are going in the opposite direction, but you know what I've done? I've bought more Teuton Resources. I've bought more of some of these like EMX royalty. I keep buying them. Nova royalty's down. I buy that. And when the inflation comes and it becomes very apparent to everyone else, what you have is what everyone's going to want. You have to buy this stuff when your sentiment and when you feel that way. I'm not telling you to go buy a whole bunch right now. do whatever's right for you. This is not advice, it's just my opinion, but I'm looking at actually buying into some of these small silver companies because their charts, they've broken their downtrends. They look very good for an entry point. And you know what? I don't argue with it. If it shows me, if I see the characteristics of a bottoming pattern, I just buy it. I don't question it. I don't look at sentiment. I don't care about what people say. You trade what's in front of you, or you invest what's in front of you. And I know that silver is of very good value. And some of these silver companies, nobody cares about them right now. They do not care about it. They don't talk about it. And that's when I go in. So if you had another $100,000 to add to positions, what would you be adding to right now? 100 grand. If you have physical metals, if you don't have physical metals, I'd buy physical platinum right now. I think physical platinum is a good spot to be. I would buy some of these maybe small silver companies. No one's looking at them, and they're looking pretty good. That's where I'm looking at. Energy-wise, we've kind of bottomed and we're starting to come up. I already purchased some of those when they were down, like CDEV at $4, a little over $4, around $4. I bought RECAF as one that you might want to look at if it breaks to the upside. That would be one I would look at, RECAF. There's a lot of short sellers, and there's a lot of negative sentiment around it. If that thing breaks to the upside and it's right at the tip of its pattern, if that breaks, we're going to see a massive short squeeze. And those guys are going to get smoked. I mean, smoked if they can come out with some news. But that could be fun, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it breaks to the downside and we see further downside. And I see some people saying that there's this gap that needs to be filled, but I don't think all gaps get filled. They don't. It's something probably like 40% get filled, or 60% or something like that. So I'm not a huge one. Siboney, I know a lot of people like Siboney Stillwater. That might be one to look into. But yeah, I mean, another one. Some of these, if you guys like the platinum miners, and I'm not a huge platinum miner guy, but some of them are down quite a bit, and that's when you want to buy. Is when they're coming down like this. Wait for it to turn. Wait for it to turn and start coming back up, and then snap. Grab some shares because they're getting cheap, and you want to buy this stuff when no one's looking, when nobody wants it. And I think we're getting real close to people giving up on the sector. And that's when I start getting more, how can I say it, a lot more interested in it. And I think we're real close to people just giving up. I read a lot about Baytex, Crew Energy, Birch Cliff. Those are some that I own. I don't know. Well, I don't own any Baytex, but I think my brother does. Going on down, the economy will crash before you uneducated people see $100 oil. I don't think the economy's. Well, you're saying the economy. It's two separate things. The real estate market is what drives inflation and deflation. The economy and the way that we interact with each other, that's just what the economy is. Oil is just a function or a measurement of how much inflation's in the system. That is the major component of oil. Then you've got the supply-demand component. I think we'll see far higher oil than $100. So I am a ultra bull. I think that we could see $200, $300, $400 a barrel oil, based off of the dollar declining and inflation because of the expansion phase of real estate. And deflationary crash. A deflationary crash comes from real estate having too much inventory and then eventually crashing down, which is a deleveraging. Credit is being destroyed when people get underwater and they default and foreclose on their houses. We are so far away from that I don't even know how people could be thinking about that. I know that I've read some other stuff. It says, have you seen the Evergrande share price and could that be a contagion or whatever? I don't think that that's going to affect anything. And the reason I say that is because it's not going to be like a Lehman event. And Lehman didn't cause the problem. Lehman was a symptom of a problem. The problem was the real estate market was crashing. That means that everything deleverages. It's deflationary. Credit is being destroyed. I'm not sure about Evergrande. I didn't really look super deep into it, but we've got interest rates marching higher. I think that inflation, a massive wave of inflation is coming because we're seeing interest rates go up, and they're trying to hold it down. I mean, this is like big money selling out. So I think that a big inflationary wave's coming, and I think oil is about to take off. It's gonna show us how much inflation's in this system, and then behind it, you're going to see gold and silver just move like no other, and base metals. You're going to see it really start to move, and I'm excited for it, but I'm also a little bit scared by it because once this stuff gets moving, it starts changing the psychology of people. And when people start figuring out that we have inflation problems or high rates of inflation, I mean, the velocity is going to kick up too. So it's going to be self-feeding. It's going to be this cycle or loop where people see inflation, they spend, and then they kick it up, and then it just keeps going. It keeps feeding itself. So that's my take on it. I think we're so far away from a deflationary type event, but you know what? Maybe they're seeing something. I think they're just making it all up. I think they're making up the whole deflationary junk so they can print money. And I mean, what else are they going to tell you? They're going to tell you that we have an inflation problem and that they're going to print more money? No, they're going to say we're afraid of deflation. We need to keep this going. Unemployment's really bad. They're going to keep talking about all these bad things so they can continue to print money. But if you see interest rates continuing to go up, the bond market agrees with me. And you have to look at all the signals. I mean, we're seeing commodities outrun stocks. If that is the case, it's inflationary. And interest rates moving on up, inflationary. All the signals are right in front of you. The dollar, you're probably going to see the dollar drop quite a bit. That's my next guess. And guys, I don't know the timing exactly. I could be a month or two off. We could have things shift around as money moves all around. And on the short term, you know, that might be good for me to pick up more shares if something comes back down. But I'm trying to punch holes in this thesis, and I can't. All the data is aligning for these big moves. We're seeing the gold to monetary base bottom and start to come up. We're seeing all of the ratios bottoming and starting to come up. The platinum to gold ratio platinum start to outperforming gold. Oil's outperforming gold. I mean, everything's coming. It's all coming together. And there's no way, in my opinion, that there could be a deflationary crash with all those measuring sticks and ratios going in the opposite direction, saying it's inflation. So that's, you look at the data and I just say, we got inflation coming. It said silver and gold just taken such a beating. To actually even think that you can buy silver for an ounce for this cheap blows my mind. Well, I bought silver for very cheap, like $16, $14, $15, $16, $17 an ounce. So if you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.